I was the funny kid in school who would just talk during quiet time around the table when we're doing work. I'm doing things to make people laugh. I'm silly and calling out. And I would do this like all the time. And so either my mom was getting called or they'd send me to another teacher's classroom for them to, have me sit down for a while away from my friends, or to the guidance counselor. I was this student in the school that everyone knew. And they knew me because I always announced myself. I always let myself be known because I didn't have the fear and I wanted to make people laugh. It was just the way I did things. And I did this all the way from elementary school into high school. And I would just disrupt class. I'd raise my hand, I'd ask a funny question, and people would laugh. I'd say something silly. And to be honest, it even went into college a little bit, except by the time I got into like later on in the years in college, I was more mature and I would raise my hand and I would make a joke that was accepted by everyone. People just, it was a respected joke. Like, ah, that was funny. You got the vibe. And it was different than just disrupting the class like obnoxiously when I was a kid. And the thing is, along the way, from middle school, elementary school, all the way to college, like things changed. Like although I always kept, I was always able to see what would be funny in the classroom. There was a time where I just became like really serious and I kind of lost myself. And it was a while before I was able to like find that balance and understand when to be serious, when to be funny, and really how to be generally. And hear me out. Here's the thing. If you ask anyone about me, like from elementary school, middle school, they're going to tell you I was always funny. And I was also never disrespectful. I didn't disrespect the teachers. I just kind of did what I wanted to do. And they would send me out, and they would do that because, upon reflection, when I was a teacher for a little bit, they had to get through their lesson. And I wasn't letting them really get through their lesson so easily because I was disrupting kids next to me. And the kids would laugh. They liked it, but the teacher didn't like it. And it's the teacher's job to teach the whole lesson. So they send me out. In fact, it got so serious that, from like grades four, it started in third grade kind of, but from fourth grade to like sixth or seventh grade, they kept testing me for special education. They had me get like a therapist and stuff like that. They tested like my IQ, all these things. And I did well enough on those tests. And, they tested me and they said, well, he has some maybe behavioral problems in the classroom, but as far as his grade level, he's good. He doesn't have to, he shouldn't be put anything lower for sure. And for a while, they just kept trying to put me into special education classes. But I kept acting like a clown and I kept passing my test. And so I stayed in regular class the whole time. But things started to change when I hit puberty and I got into high school. I became more self conscious. And I thought about like what I was doing and how I felt and how people were perceiving me. And it just made me very anxious at times. And the kids were still laughing at my jokes, but this time I was actually failing. I wasn't really doing well in high school for a while. I passed some classes and just failed other classes. I wasn't really respected in high school. I was an outcast with the rest of the outcasts. And so I made some good friends, people that I still love to this day. I only ended up graduating on time from college because I wanted to make my mom happy. And so I just did I my senior year, I gave it my all. And I started school. I woke up at 5, started school I think at 6, 6:30 for first period. all the way to like ninth or 10th period, including like PM school after school. And then I had online classes. And I did all that just so I could graduate on time. And, when I first got to college, I didn't really take it very seriously at all. I would do my classwork, I would do homework, whatever I had, I wouldn't give it my all, but I would do it. And then I would just play video games. But then at some point, I was inspired to run for student government president. And when I became student government president, I felt, the weight of the responsibility and that they were training me to be someone who could fill the role and become a leader. And so that turned me into someone who was very stoic. Like, I wasn't smiling, I wasn't happy. You can never see me happy. I'm the guy, like a lot of guys, so like in pictures, I don't smile. I have a serious face. That's what I was. And then, I finished the student government thing as someone who was very serious, and I felt the weight and pressure of it, and I went to another university to pursue my higher level degree in computer science. And so I studied computer science for a while, and I didn't have that same responsibility, so I was able to relax a little bit. But I had to find the balance between being serious and being open and funny. And in my other university, I mean, I was stressed because I had a lot of work to do all the time. And I really like decided that I have to get this degree. I don't want to fail. And so I had that pressure on me and I fought through it. And in classes, I never missed an opportunity to, tell a joke, to raise my hand and say something that I knew would make the class laugh. And people liked me because of it. People thought I was funny and they wanted to hang out with me. So in my computer science program, I wasn't one of the smartest kids, but I was still like known. I mean, part of it is because I was one of the few black dudes in my program who was actually making it. And beyond that, people just liked that I was funny. Like, I wasn't super serious, but I was doing a serious thing by going to school and pursuing this degree that required hours and hours and hours of work to get a job at one of these software companies at some point. And, you know, from all of that, from elementary school to university to graduation, what I learned is that there's a balance in being serious and being funny. And I learned that that balance really is just going with the flow and don't be obnoxious. Go with the flow. When it's right to make a joke, make the joke. That's good. But don't be a fool either. And also, I learned being too serious is no fun for anyone. And people will not judge you on your past. They don't know my past of being serious or being a fool. They'll judge you and they judge me based on how I made them feel. They judge me best based on what was being presented to them. And I also learned that being funny is a good attribute, and I'd like to be even funnier, like it's something that I'd like to work on to really be good at it because there's something about being funny that just makes you the best person in the whole wide world, and I want that because it's good to make a good joke and for everyone to be happy. It's a nice thing. So ultimately, I'm glad for all my experiences because they helped me to become someone who's not a clown and who's also not a stiffman or also not even a stiff clown. It's someone who is more balanced, someone who seeks peace, who seeks joy, and to be in harmony is is what I've learned and ultimately who I want to be. Okay, so if this resonated with you, I appreciate you being here and I'll keep sharing these. And as I grow and learn through this, I'll keep posting. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.